Jimmy's Jam Box. Keep jamming. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode. Jimmy's Jam Box. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. With that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Butterfly Blue, a deeply calming hemp jasmine tea. A gentle white tea combined with tropical fruits and butterfly blue pea flower to create an elixir that is as delicious as it is beautiful. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. All right, thank you all so much for watching. Again, shout out The Brothers Apothecary. The holidays might be over, but they're still here. Click the link below, go get something. With that being said, here is today's guest.
Hello, I'm Misty.
I'm Mary.
I'm Larry, and we're Merwulf.
Hello. Thank you all so much for joining us. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start at the same end. And why don't you tell us a little bit about you individually, just, you know, where you're from and what you play in the band.
I was born in Roanoke, Virginia, moved to Portland in 1999, and I play the electric piano machine.
Oh, exciting. What is your main instrument, or like, what's your main like synth or keyboard that you play?
I don't know how to answer the question.
Fair.
It's a Yamaha.
Okay, perfect. Right.
I play the piano.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
There you go.
Fair. All right. And then what about you?
All right, I'm Mary. I'm mostly from the Northwest, and I'm playing the bass in this band.
Awesome. That's my main instrument as well.
And lead vocals.
That is definitely not my main instrument, but I resonate with you on the bass. Okay, and then what about you?
I'm Larry. I play the drums. I was born in San Francisco, but I grew up in Roanoke, Virginia.
Okay.
And then I've lived most of my life in Portland.
All right. Well, thank you all for being here. Let's go ahead and we're going to start right at the beginning. And, we'll start with you this time. What got you into music initially?
Punk rock, basically. So I'm an 80s kid. And I was always interested in music. I think I first really got interested in like early like rap, when we used to call it breakdance music. Or at least we did in elementary school.
Okay.
And so like I had it in my idea that I wanted to make that kind of stuff. I had a little Casio keyboard and stuff, but I could never make it sound like it did on like Herbie Hancock records or whatever.
Fair.
Whatever I was listening to, Fat Boys. But it wasn't until like around 13, I got into hardcore and stuff, and then I just got really interested. And a friend of mine had a beat up old like pawn shop Hondo guitar with like 2 strings on it, and I figured out how to play "I Want to Be Your Stepping Stone," like the minor threat version of it. And with 1 string. I didn't know what a chord was.
Oh yeah,
but I was like, oh, I got this.
I got it.
You did it.
And for my 15th birthday, I got a guitar, and that's just where I...
And then you're like, wait, there are 4 more of them?
Well, I took like 3 guitar lessons, but they were all like, well, you can play the music you want to play, because I'd already like within a week or 2, I'd learned the Ramones album.
Ah, fair.
All downstrokes. But that's how I got into music.
Oh, yeah. All right, and then what about you?
I guess I'm always been interested in music and just like wanting to sing. And but there was like always a piano at my house, so I took lessons, and then also had a Hondo guitar.
Really?
In high school. I think I started with like a cowboy guitar that was like that belonged to a relative. It was like a very like a small steel string guitar. And I don't think I ever took any guitar lessons. I just like similar thing. I'm like, I just kind of started writing songs on it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And then I had the Hondo, and then I had a Gibson after that.
Okay. I mean, definitely a step in the right direction. I'm not familiar with Hondo as a brand.
Is that just an 80s, early 90s brand?
But like, were you both in like the Pacific Northwest by that time?
Not me. I was in Roanoke. I was in Roanoke until I was 17. I came here for my senior year of high school.
Okay.
And,
I was curious if maybe that was just like a top left
Honda
brand.
was just like a cheap, like Japanese.
Okay.
Like,
I wonder.
These days it'd be like a Chinese guitar, but back
Okay.
then, like, I don't know.
I wonder whatever became of them. Somebody put that in the comments.
Yeah.
But that's just for me for later. We'll go ahead and get back into it. Did you have any more you'd like to add to your origin story? All right, then let's go ahead. We're going to move on to you.
Yeah, I was fascinated by the piano, and I'm not
Was
sure
it
where
also
it
a
came
Hondo?
from.
I'm sorry.
So I didn't have a piano. There was no piano in my house.
Oh.
I craved learning to play the piano, and I got one for a Christmas present when I was 13. And, immediately started writing songs about ducks and
No, of course.
like not great songs, but then because I lived sometimes at my mom's house and sometimes at my dad's house, I didn't always have my piano with me. So I got a guitar to have something to play. And so I learned a little bit of both guitar and piano, but, not very much, not very quickly. And I just craved learning more about music.
Okay.
And how it worked.
Gotcha. All right. Well, those are all exciting beginnings for sure. It's cool that you all have a shared experience in, at the very least, guitar for the most part. And I mean, you play piano as well. I didn't 100% grad. Do you play piano at all?
No.
Okay.
For some reason, piano just baffles me. I'd love to be able to play piano, but
Fair.
I've been trying to learn the same song for 25 years.
Oh, piano was the very first instrument I started on, and I could not sit still. That was what it came down to. Is I can sit and play drums until the cows come home, but I cannot sit down and play a piano. It just doesn't do it for me. I have to be standing or moving. Yeah, it's all linear, but why do you have to do so many things?
For me, it's just like all the black and white, and I just don't have a reference point. It's easier for other people. I don't understand, but
Wow, I thought it was really easy.
yeah.
No,
All laid out in front of you in
I never
order.
knew. Yeah.
In order.
See, and now I'm with you on this. And it's funny because I resonate towards drums a little more as now it's kind of my main instrument. So I wonder if there's a correlation somewhere in there. That'll be another one for later. I'm excited. Thank you for opening that option up to me. But let's go ahead and keep on moving on. And for this one, this will kind of leave open to the room, just whoever comes up with their answers first. But when you were first getting into playing music, who were some of your, and we'll say not when you maybe first learned your first instrument, but when you started playing it as kind of like a thing to do, who were some of your early influences during that point?
Is it me first?
It's whoever, just whoever can think of an answer.
Is what it is.
Definitely PJ Harvey. It was my first obsession. I was super obsessed with it, and during the time that I was writing songs, and then I did go through a pretty strong Tori Amos phase. And what else? Someone else talk.
I mean, I remember referencing David Bowie in some songs, but not writing songs like David Bowie.
Yeah.
I was probably greatly influenced by The Cure.
Okay.
Well, just the songwriting style.
Yeah.
What else? My husband, who is also in this band.
Where?
used to say to me that my songs sounded really theatrical. So I think I was influenced by Queen and Meatloaf from, the earlier exposure to songs from when I wasn't a child, and then it just started coming out that way.
Gotcha. That makes sense. All right, and then what about you?
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely punk. It all kind of happened at once, 13, 14.
Yeah.
I was a skater, and someone played Black Flag in a car one time. I was like, what the hell is this? And I actually brought my first two punk records with me.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but also I remember right about the time I got a guitar, I just was obsessed with the Ramones. I'd heard Blitzkrieg Bop. I think I was at a skate demo show, watching Rodney Mullen or something at a mall, and they were playing it. And I was just like, "What is this? I have to find this song." And I just back then you couldn't look up anything.
Yeah.
You know, I just had to like buy records. And I finally found it. And I was just so obsessed with that album. And yeah, that definitely, and the fact that it was so accessible that I could, you know, with a little bit of knowledge, you know, somebody showed me a 2-note power chord and then like I could make something happen, you know, it just kind of opened everything up for me, you know.
That's awesome. Oh yeah. Well, and actually, since you've already mentioned it, we're going to save yours for last. But this next one, it's one we ask early, it's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money? And we'll start with you.
Okay, so with my own money, because I know that the first album that I wanted that I got, but I was a kid and I didn't have my own money, was Talking Head 77 and some Howard Jones album that I don't remember now.
Fair.
I know the one.
Yeah, that probably is the answer.
Okay. What about you?
I have a really bad memory with like specific details like that, but I do remember being in middle school when like the big popular Nirvana album came out, and also Pearl Jam was like, I remember having those, and maybe it was a part of one of those like clubs where they mail you like,
oh, gotcha.
It might have been like that.
Did you know those two albums came out within a window of like 44 days of each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Them and there's them and like 5 other iconic albums came out in this like 3-week window almost. It was really interesting. So, I mean, those are also very good choices. And then what about you?
So, I know that like when I was just coming out of elementary school, early middle school, like 5th or 6th grade, I know I was buying like on tapes. It wasn't records. Like,
Yeah,
I
tape.
was buying, Run DMC, Fat Boys, Houdini. I bought Herbie Hancock's Future Shock, but only liked one of the songs when I was at that age, you know. And I, you know, stuff like that. And there was I don't know who the artist was, but they did that one song. It's like, let's go all the way.
Oh yeah.
Let's go. I remember buying that and being super, because I love that song.
Was that Let's Get Rock? Is that the name of the song?
I think it was called Let's Go All the Way.
Oh, was it?
Down, diddy.
Yeah.
I can't.
Oh my God, who was that?
Oh, I just looked that up yesterday because he was talking about
Okay, yeah, man, I know exactly what song you're talking about. I can't think of who it was.
No, but like I remember being so obsessed with that song. I was probably pretty young, and then getting the tape and like the rest of it, I just didn't like, and that just kept happening, you know. And I remember buying the first vinyl that I bought with my money was probably the Bangles' "Walk Like an Egyptian." Which there were a couple good songs on that. But it wasn't that great. But it wasn't until like the first punk record I bought was this guy right here.
out of a bag.
Nobody's ever brought theirs before. This is exciting.
These are the first two records I bought, the actual ones.
Wow.
Suicidal Tendencies, Institutionalized, and Group Sex by Circle Jerks.
Oh yeah.
And there's no sleeve left. They're like coming out the other side. The records still look like they're in pretty good shape. But
yeah,
those are the ones. Like went to the mall and got them.
Wow, awesome!
Right
Thank you so much for bringing them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which mall was it?
It was Tanglewood, whatever that record store was.
The one that was upstairs across from the food court.
Yeah, like close to the
They
arcade.
had the baked potatoes with the
Yep. Yeah, that's it. I probably got myself a baked potato right afterwards.
We may have walked past each other.
And not even known it yet.
Didn't even know it.
That's exciting.
Beef stew and a baked potato.
It's like a baked potato salad bar.
When in Rome.
It's like when salad bars were a big thing.
Oh yeah, I guess they're not anymore.
Potato bars.
Yeah.
I didn't even know potato bars were an
I
option.
don't think that was a thing on this part of the country.
I had a potato bar at my high school. That's all I had for lunch.
I just remember.
I never had one of those. I've never heard of one.
Got to get you a potato.
Yeah. If somebody has a potato bar and wants to come on the show, let's make that happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, thank you for bringing those. That's like I said, nobody's ever done that before. It's a really. I might start asking people to do that if they have that.
Cool. It's a nice show and tell.
Yeah.
I'm just so happy I still have these because I've had a lot of like classic punk records, and a lot of them have been stolen over the years. Like I every time I go to look for something, like something else is missing. But I don't know how it happens.
I was gonna say that is very punk rock, unfortunately. No, I'm
like
kidding.
all my Minutemen records, like Battalion of Saints, like
Oh,
the
man.
first two Clash records, they just vanish, I don't know how that happens.
Yeah.
Records are big things,
Yeah. Everything can grow legs and walk away eventually.
But-
All right. Now we've got one last question to go in the artist focus portion, and we'll start with you this time. What was the first live show you ever went to? That was like one that you like wanted to go to.
Okay, so this is kind of the same thing, like around like early middle school. I had like an almost half sister at the time. Like my dad had a living girlfriend, and she was like older than me. She was a senior in high school, and she was in the metal. And so she like took me to a Sammy Hagar concert and then David Lee Roth, which was terrible. But like I thought I was supposed to like metal for a short period there. But the first concert I went and spent my own money, and I was scared to death, was Dr. No, K-N-O-W. And it was a hardcore band, but this was like 87, 88. And so all the hardcore bands were turning into metal bands. I went to it was a little club in Roanoke called the Iroquois. And I went with some friends from, I guess, middle school, or maybe it was like early high school. And, but like we went to see Dr. No, and they turned into a metal band. Like,
Oh, no.
like only one guy was left. And it wasn't until the very end that they played the song that we all wanted to hear. But it was the first time I got dragged into a pit, and I don't know, it was a pretty seminal moment for me.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I bet.
And much better than going to see David Lee Roth, I can tell you that much. Like, it's a joke.
Well, I'll take your word on that one. And what about you?
I think it was Lollapalooza.
Okay.
Adorable.
Okay. Do you remember which year?
It would have been probably 94.
Okay.
And it was like my older sister brought she went with a friend and then brought my friend, and I was Ramona. We went together. And
What fun.
I don't remember who all the bands were that were there that we saw. I know Primus was there.
Okay.
And I can't remember who. I was going to research it so I could be like, oh yeah, now I remember. Yeah, but that was probably it.
I mean, that's definitely a good one. My first one was Ozfest 2004, so I can appreciate the first time experience being a festival. Yeah. All right. And what about you?
Okay, so I definitely wanted to go see Prince and the Revolution, and I got to in 1986.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I think it was 1986. It was whenever the Purple Rain tour happened.
Yeah.
Flowers fell from the ceiling.
I believe it.
Prince was in a bathtub
Yeah.
telling the audience, including me, at the age of 12 or 11. I'm not sure. I can't. Those years are just somehow
Yeah.
long ago. He said to the audience, "I've come to play with you," with like a lot of like ellipses afterwards. I saw Prince.
I was like, man, that might be one of the coolest first shows I've gotten yet. Like,
I
that's
was obsessed. Like we had a 6th grade project to make a board game out of an egg carton, and I made a Prince and the Revolution trivia game because.
Do you still have it?
No, I don't have it, but I do have the concert book that I got.
That's amazing.
Oh.
That's amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that for sure.
Prince.
Yeah.
I was like
Yeah, like
in
I said,
the same room with that guy. I can't believe it. I mean, it was a huge concert. It was.
Yeah, I can't even begin to imagine.
In the same room.
I remember I heard a story. I heard I've heard two big stories about him, but I'll only tell one of them. Where he was in Las Vegas and he was doing the show. He's getting it together, and he like walks out. He's like, "I want tigers," and the guy was like, first of all, there's no way we can get tigers on such short notice. Second of all, like, there's no way we can get tigers. He walked over to his manager and said, fire that guy, find a guy who will get us tigers, and make sure he shows up with the tigers. And there were tigers. There were tigers.
He had some big ideas.
Prince got same day tigers in Las Vegas. Do you know, like, that is monumental.
Mm-hmm.
He is just such a bigger than life person in so many respects.
Mm-hmm.
So that's incredible.
Mm-hmm. I feel really fortunate to be able to tell that story.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing it. All right, now let's go ahead and we're going to dive into y'all as the band here and now.
Okay.
And we're going to get the super easy one out of the way. Whoever wants to answer this can. How'd y'all pick the name?
Ooh.
Well, We were kind of struggling a little bit. It was early on though. Were we actually a band? I think we knew we were a band. And then they just started like joking around with like putting the beginning part of my name, which is Mary, but it's Merri, with like many different animals. And we have the text chain. We should see what some of the other animals were. But then, and I was like, this is dumb. Like it was just like whatever.
Merbat.
Yeah, exactly. Not mare. And then, but when they did Merwulf, I was like, we were all like, oh, Merwulf. Okay.
Yeah, because they, over the years, have referred to each other as Lair Bear and Mare Bear.
Oh.
Just, like what you do with friends.
Yeah. We've known each other a long time, the three of us.
Is Mare Bear coming over? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so when we started playing as a band this time, it was like, oh, let's play in this band where Mary's songs are getting performed by this band that's on stage. And so like we as regular people are transforming the way like a werewolf might transform, right?
Oh, okay.
This is my interpretation.
Yeah.
Of
For me.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, that's totally what we mean as well.
I just thought it sounded
Keep
cool.
going.
This is like my interpretation of how the name is just like so perfect for what we're doing. Like this is when we're on stage and we're performing Mary's songs, we have become the Merwulf.
Oh, I love that
interpretation too. And the way I was thinking of it. So I think I was the one that sent it, but so just stream of consciousness, right? But like the reason I like it so much, I guess, is that I see this band as like like Mary doing, kind of getting out of her comfort zone and doing something a little more aggressive and a little more like, I don't know, like just less pretty or less like the pressure to be sounding pretty and stuff, and which it's kind of like Mary's transformation. I don't know how you feel about that, Mary.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. Like it's like more, like you said, it's more aggressive. Yeah.
I could definitely see that. I was listening to y'all's music before you came over. And then I was listening to, per a comparison that you had in your Spotify bio, Illuminati Hotties. What a fun band.
Yeah, they're really great live.
Yeah. That like I got through your whole EP and then I saw that in the bio and I was like, let's check it out. That was definitely what was playing when y'all walked in. Fun fact. That's a little insider baseball. Awesome, but thank you for sharing that. How did y'all meet initially? And from what I gathered, this isn't the first time y'all have played music together?
That's right.
Okay, then let's hear the story. And this will also kind of be open to the room. Whoever wants to add in can.
Long story.
So Larry was a 16-year-old in Roanoke, Virginia. And he got in trouble and was in detention. And then
how all good stories start.
A friend and I were trying to skip school, and we ended up in the ISS room with Larry. That's how Larry.
We met in school suspension.
That's how Larry met Misty.
Okay.
Breakfast Club style.
I was going to say, this is very, very like movie setting. I love this.
It was.
And so, yeah, we became friends, and we had like circles of friends that we hung out with too. And then when he moved from Virginia to Oregon to live in his mom's house, he also joined his little sister, who was 6 years younger and still is 6 years younger. So we kind of see her as older because she's just more like adult than we are.
One of those.
She
way more adult.
She grew up. And so her name is Nicole, and Nicole had a group of friends in, what was it, middle school?
No, I met Nikki in 9th grade science class. In Mr. Wilson's class. And we were like talking about the Pixies and like my older brother loves, I don't know, we just like bonded over music stuff and we became friends. And then I ended up meeting Larry, and then we just, I don't know, we played music together.
Yeah.
And I'm just kidding.
Because Mary and Larry were in a band in 1999, right?
We kind of like traded music back, and like we would send, because we were not always living in the same city, but we'd like trade music back and forth.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Same with me and Misty. Like I'd visit and we'd try to play music together. And so we didn't know how to make a band or anything. Yeah. We'd trade demos and just little cassettes and stuff. And
we played with Nikki too.
Yeah.
Nikki and I, like Nikki, my family moved to Colorado for a bit, and Nikki would like visit, and then we would like play these little shows at my school.
Oh, cool.
And so we had like Yeah, between Nikki and Larry would like record together and send stuff to me, and then I would record my like mostly like piano and I guess it was guitar too, piano and guitar songs that I was writing.
Yeah. Were you included in the mailing of music back and forth, or were you closer to Larry at that time?
I didn't know anything about Mary until some like maybe 95, was it?
Okay.
And then I heard a tape of hers and like, okay, so like, here's the thing about me and music is when I like music, I like it a lot. And there's a lot of music that other people like that like, maybe I should like, maybe it's in the same category as other things that I like, but I just don't, if I don't like it, I just don't like it.
I respect that.
I can't like make myself enjoy something that I just doesn't click with me, but everything Mary does is really good with me. So when I heard this coming out of this like high school kid, I was very impressed. Let's just say.
Oh yeah.
So it's really cool that it worked out.
So did you get to hear Mary's music before you got to know Mary?
Yeah, I heard her music before I met her.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What an interesting way.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun.
I think I heard Mary's music before I met her too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
It's probably true for most of our audience, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, like Mary. So Mary's in like I had like a singer-songwriter band in the late 90s. We were called Wasabi. Didn't really go anywhere, but we opened up for New Bad Things. That was like our claim to fame.
Okay.
And which, we loved that band. So it was pretty fun. But and then like later, like much later, not that much later, I don't know, maybe like 3 years later. It seems like so long ago, but well, I was in another of Mary's band. I played drums in a band called Telenovela, not to be confused with the Texas duo, but the original Telenovela.
Yes.
But again, like we played some shows and we recorded. Like it seemed like every band I was in, we record an album and then we would break up immediately afterwards.
Yeah, because I decided to move to LA. So
Gotcha.
Like, guys.
And then Missy and I had a band with our friend Lucas called Taking the Place of a Supernatural Disaster, which never fit on any marquee in any club. But, we played a bunch of shows and then we went to record and then we broke up. Well, Lucas left the band and we couldn't really get together after that. So it's like, this is the time, like when Mary decided to play bass and do these songs this way, like it just kind of finally fell together where the three of us can be in a band together,
Yeah.
And it's like, really, it's been, the perfect band so far.
Okay.
I just feel more comfortable in this band and, like just the way the dynamics working and the little bit of momentum that we're starting to gain. And it's like it all has come together. That's what it feels like to me anyway.
I love that. And I could definitely resonate with that. The last band I was in, Smooth Talk, that was one of the, like, it's like every time we got together for practice, it just made sense. The communication about the music was just always like on point and it just felt very natural. And that I think, that goes a long way when it comes to making music with other people.
Yeah.
And especially because you all have kind of a long interwoven relationship through music on top of being, people yourselves. So that's a really cool way to get to it.
Yeah, we're all such big fans of each other.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, I think that's a big part of
it. That can go a long way as well. Although, I mean, I guess some of the biggest bands didn't like each other, but who's got the time nowadays?
Yeah,
yeah. And I just feel kind of honored because these two are amazing songwriters, and we're just like choosing to do my stuff. So it's like, whoa.
Yeah, that is. I guess I've only ever been in bands where we started everything from scratch. So I've never like had somebody walk in and be like, "Hey, you're going to play all these things of ours."
We mostly have written these songs over the course of the last year. I came in with a couple of them, but in the past, I've always felt like I have to finish the song before I can like sort of present it to others. And then I feel kind of like uncomfortable with like, oh no, they're not going to like it or they're going to want to change it. And this has been really different because I'll bring them like a riff and they're like, we like that. Where's the rest? And then they'll help me kind of like arrange it.
Okay.
And I'm okay with that because I want it to move forward and I don't want to be attached to it being like only my vision.
Gotcha.
Because I already did the part of like, it did the therapy for me already where I got the feeling out and then now I just want to have fun playing it. So
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think part of what makes that work also is that we want to honor the song. We're not trying to change it,
Yeah.
Like anything we add to it is we're just trying to honor the vibe of the song.
Yeah. Well, it helps that it helps that when it arrives in its early form, it's already appreciated. But I feel like we're about to get into this next portion of questions anyway, so we're going to segue. I'm just going to bring it up real quick. We're going to talk about your writing process, and we're going to break it up into chunks, but I want to start right at the beginning, kind of where we are now. When it's time to start a song, what does that process usually look like?
How do Merwulf songs come about?
Yeah.
Start with depression.
There's a lot.
We'll jump to you've already been inspired in however way you choose.
I mean, it could be like I'm messing around on the bass and then I find a riff that I like, and then, it could be like a small idea or like a lyric that I have, and then I put something with it. Sometimes some of the songs I've kind of put a couple different riffs or lyrical parts that I've kind of held on to over the years to form a new song. And then I'll kind of like, it's fun. Every time I bring something to the band, I'm like waiting for the day when like Misty and Larry are like, not that one.
We become obsessed with the new song she brings.
We do the new song. Like, where's the new? Like, just even last practice, I started playing this like small riff that I'm just barely like, what's that?
We can tell. We're like, something's coming. Let's hear it now.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so like for this one song Mary had, it was Last Light. It's a beautiful song. And she showed me the piano that she did. And she's like, you don't have to do it this way. I'm like, okay. But I want to know what you're doing, because then I'll know the ballpark of
you can extrapolate from there.
Yeah, a little bit, And so we tried to do it, and we were doing it in the way that it was just being done. And there was just something about it, just what didn't sound like it fit with the rest of the songs we wanted to do. And like, this isn't really a Merwulf song.
Yeah, it was one of the first songs. Yeah.
We dropped it. We're like, nah. And then something happened where we wanted to play it again, and we said, well, what if we did it with a different rhythm? And then
I think we were jamming on it.
Yeah.
Just like I didn't want to give up on that song.
Yeah. So just like kind of tweaking it with a different rhythm made it so that we could, it just freshened it up so nicely.
Yeah, it happened naturally. We were just jamming on it. We were playing. It was kind of like a shuffle beat, da, 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 da. And then somehow like we started straightening it out.
I told you to. That was me.
Okay.
We straightened it, and then suddenly it's like got this Fugazi vibe, and it's just like, now it's a Merwulf song, it's that little bit of adjustment,
Gotcha.
It was going really like in the direction of jam band, and so I'm like, this is going in the trash heap for us.
Fair.
For us. There's nothing wrong with the jam band, it's just not who we are.
Yeah, no, if it's not the sound you want, I think sometimes people get caught up in we have to sound like this, or we have to try and do these things. No, it's okay to have a direction. I think that can go a long way. So that makes sense. And then once a song is written, so you have the song done, you're ready to practice it and get it ready to perform. How long does it usually take y'all to get comfortable performing a song?
It kind of depends on the song, but we really we played together with not almost a year, because we just had our first show in October.
Oh, exciting.
And we had started playing together like in December or January.
Yeah, mostly January.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
we rehearsed for a long time, and then by the time we played, we had like 10 or 12 songs completed. We have a couple more now, but and then I had a coworker that was like, I just picked up the bass, and then she's like, I'm playing a show next week, and I'm like, wait, what? So there was that, but I think we put in the time, and then we've been pretty pleased with like how we're doing, like playing live.
Yeah.
And just able to like recover if there's a small mistake. We're not like throwing our instruments and crying, and we're okay.
And I think that's important. That's a good thing to have for live. Everybody focuses a lot on the perfection element of a performance and not the performance element of a performance. Yeah. Somebody I forget who it was, but on their episode they were talking about how they went and saw Beyonce, and Beyonce fell down the stairs and without missing a beat, got back up, got back in formation with everybody else that was dancing, just played it off. And that's why she could charge $1,800 a ticket, I guess. But that's that's important. And the sooner you can get into that space, the sooner performing in general is just much more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then I guess this next one, I guess this will be kind of an interesting one because you guys have basically been doing it for just this year.
Mm-hmm.
But when you first got started at the beginning of the year versus now, how has that process changed?
Well, I was a very beginner bass player. And I guess when I talk to people, they're like, oh, the bass is so easy. Like if you've played guitar, but I hadn't really played guitar regularly and I never played electric guitar. So there was a real learning curve because I could write like simple lines, but I think that my bass lines have made like a huge jump. And just my ability to play them.
Gotcha.
It's changed. But like initially, like I had no calluses. So it was like actually difficult and painful. The first time Larry and I played together, and then by the second practice, I was able to like pull Misty in.
I wasn't
like,
going to
"Come on,
do it
Misty."
at first. I was like, you guys are good, and I'm just going to do laundry. You know.
Well, Misty and I, we weren't playing a lot of music. You know, we used to play music together all the time, and we hadn't really done that in a long time. Just life was starting to creep in.
I know how that goes.
And I had a drum set, but it'd been a long time since I actually practiced. I would play at them, you know?
Yeah.
And I wasn't playing with anybody, and that's a big difference.
Yeah.
And so we all kind of, it's like we're all learning, you know, and it kind of it gives it a very young feel, you know? It feels brand new again, which is really exciting.
For music, especially at certain points, that can be really rewarding and kind of rejuvenating, I guess would be the better word to use. Yeah.
So we don't, you know, we want to sound good and we want to be tight and all, but we don't have like really high expectations of perfection. And I don't think the music really demands that. Like we're kind of in a genre that it's okay to be a little rough around the edges. And that's what we like. We like people to be rough around the edges. Yeah. So it's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. And now for this next one, this one's a fun one, and I think this is going to tie really well into that. Out of all the songs y'all have available right now to play and perform, which one do you enjoy playing as the individual the most? Like what has that moment in the song that just you always enjoy it a little bit more than, like you can love playing all of it, but what has that one that you just always give a little extra?
That's hard because I really do like so much about all of them.
But is there like one part in particular of a certain song that you just...
I really like playing Plans.
Okay. And what do you like about it?
It's...
This is an odd question for sure.
Yeah. To it. And it's... I was gonna say Plans too, and I think it's because I've just got a crazy sort of bunch of drum fills in the middle.
Okay.
We just kind of go crazy on it. Like we haven't recorded it yet. We you know, except for practice recordings, but I know we all love that song. But what do you think, Mary?
I think my favorite one, I don't know why, but it's Never Said, and it's such a kind of simple song.
That one too. I love that one too.
I feel like I never thought I would write a song like that because it's maybe a little metal and it's just like...
Well, we know how you feel about that.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's good metal. Like, it's like I've been trying to learn how to do Hertas. I can't really quite get in the song yet. But
Gotcha.
But it's that kind of song.
Gotcha. Okay. Did you want to explain?
I
was like making sure.
I haven't really found,
That's okay.
Answer.
It's a strange question sometimes, but I think it's hopefully one people sit with afterwards. You know, I wish more people approached their own music with what are the things I love about playing my music that like stand out as the little bits where you're like, there was one band once where two of the members loved a certain part of a song and the other two members didn't, but they were willing to entertain it for the time. So the two members that loved it, they just went extra hard. Every time they just gave it the beans the whole time, and eventually the whole band came around to it because they were like, "Man, there's something about this part that every time." And then they told them on the show, so I thought that was fun. All right, and then this last one, this will be an individual answer question, and we'll go ahead and start with you. But we've talked a lot about what music gives to us, the experiences that we have with it, and things like that. But what is it about music that gives back to you when it's just you and the music one-on-one?
I mean, it's like the secrets of the universe, really.
Go on.
It's beautiful. It's just beautiful how it connects. All the sounds connect to each other. I can't explain it, but I feel it.
Yeah. No, I love that. And what about you?
And for me, it's just taking any kind of emotion, and usually for me it's like a sad emotion, or like some kind of confusion or anger, and making a thing out of it that's like more tangible and useful to me, especially now that we can play it for people. It's like I made this thing and maybe other people feel the same way, and like I don't know. Then it's communication, but initially it's like my outlet.
I like that description, making it useful. That's a really powerful way to convert something that's otherwise kinetically a negative experience.
I kind of feel like my brain went on a tangent and I need the question repeated.
Yeah. So to reiterate, what is it about music that gives back to you when it's just you and the music one-on-one?
This is the general question I thought it was. Oh my gosh, that's broad. I mean, it's catharsis and affirmation, and it's so primal. Like, why do we like music? You know, like how did music happen? You know? Like, are other animals like whales and birds? Are they doing music? Are they doing something else? Like, what is music?
Birds do for sure.
Yeah, like I don't know, but like I think there's so much more to it than just the sounds too. It's just like I don't know, like I get little chills.
Yeah.
You know, and like and you feel it so deep in your gut. Whoops. And
actually, it's one of my favorite things is to drive with my husband and we're listening to music, and I know exactly when the chills are going to show up on his neck. So I just do a little. Go ahead.
That is so much. Thank you for sharing that. That's something I've oh, I love that.
You know, that part of the song, you're like, oh, there's his chills. There they are.
Well, I mean, I know which part of the songs give me that, but I've never heard somebody be like, I know when it gives somebody else that. That's such a cool connection. Thank you for that.
It's for me, it's like, it's a lifesaver. Cause like when I was a like skinny, weird, brutally bullied kid with a weird upbringing, you know, and you know, just crazy stuff going on. And like having the catharsis of like that early punk stuff and just what it, like how it was able to like encapsulate what I was feeling and like put it in a direction, you know, a focused direction. And like, and you know, it's not just punk, you know, like whether, you know, I got a little older, I started writing love songs.
No, I get what you're saying. No, I mean, the question itself is dense. I think those are all really, really valid answers for sure. And I appreciate you sharing. Music has so many different ways of being appreciated, and it's cool. It's interesting how like specific but different all of your answers were for how, I mean, appreciative you two are her music specifically, but how appreciative of all of your music you all seem to be. Like usually, you know, especially some of the other bands that have been on here, they always like razz each other, like, oh, that's the worst. Oh, that like you like just, you know, as a joke, like they're like, you know, they give each other grief like because that's, you know, that's part of it. But it's so refreshing. It's enjoyable to see people in a band together who are just fans of the music like that. I think that's something I wish everybody just adopted more, because that's the truth. Everybody in bands should like each other's music, but nobody makes the narrative outward enough. And I think that there's at least something along the lines of manifestation in there somewhere, but I think just that it feels good. It feels like a nice thing to experience. Like it makes me want to go see you all live even more, just because I'm like that. I can tell just by the narration that the music is going to be enjoyable. And I think that's special. I really appreciate you all for that.
Awesome. Thank you.
But now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to some hypothetical questions. And these literally sky's the limits. There are no wrong answers because they're all made up.
Yeah.
And for this one, we'll start with you. If you could add one more instrument to the band, and usually the running answer here is keyboard, and I have to tell people not to choose keyboard because that's kind of the easy out, but you already have one.
Sort of.
Well, keys.
I mean, what I'm
piano
saying
playing,
is that there could also be a keyboardist.
True.
On top of what we're doing.
True.
It wouldn't be too many keys.
It's Larry's turn.
Yeah. Well, yes, but okay. Well, in that case, we will still omit the option of keyboard for this question. But if you could add another instrument to the band, what would you want to add?
That's an interesting question. Like, because when we first started playing together, I was thinking, well, we should probably have a guitar player, to kind of fill out the sound. Mm-hmm. And I actually, kept pressuring one of my friends to do it because I thought he'd be perfect for it, But he has a lot of stage fright and a lot of self-doubt, even though he's amazing. And he just didn't want to do it. And then we played, it was our first show was in October, but we also played for our friends at a party around May. And, we got some feedbacks, we weren't sure if we needed another member, but we got some feedbacks, we kind of like it the way it is. Yeah. It's keys and drums. And they've kind of just sort of latched onto that. It's that's our aesthetic and that's what sets us apart. Mm-hmm. That being said, if the right guitarist came along, it wasn't going to go, let's fill up all the space, give the space that we have now, or the right, multi-instrumentalist or synth player or something. But the way we are now, for me, is working just fine.
Yeah.
So
I think this question is to go for an abstract instrument. Mm-hmm. What would be a fun, bizarre, I always tell people I'd love to have a percussionist for the show. Somebody who, not a drummer per se,
Rototoms.
But just somebody who's got, the big tray full of random hand things, a couple congas and bongos and things like that. I would love a percussionist for the show. And I don't even know how I'd use them yet.
Well, something just occurred to me. I have thought about it'd be cool if just someone just did effects, just ran our effects.
Yeah.
The delays and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Somebody said this they were like, we wish we could get somebody who would DJ our guitar pedals.
Yeah.
That was their whole job. They would just stand there and manipulate the pedals that the guitars were going through.
Yeah, because it's too much to think about. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
And we called it a PBJ.
Nice.
Because pedal board. Sorry, it was fun to me. Yeah.
It took me a second.
I got there.
PB&J.
Yeah, a pedal board DJ, a PBJ. I thought that was fun.
Pretty cute.
Yeah. All right, and then what about you?
Pretty tidy.
It seems like it comes up a lot that this song is kind of ska, so we probably just need a trumpet player.
Fair.
We have at least one ska song.
I just call them ska songs because I don't really know what that is.
Well, doesn't it have to have horns to be dictated as ska? Isn't that one of the genreic requirements?
That's fourth wave ska or whatever, third wave. It always has to have horns, but no, it doesn't.
Good to know.
If you were a ska connoisseur,
I am definitely. Unfortunately, that is not one of my primary genres.
Only first and second wave. Everything else.
Good to know. I'm going to do some diving now. All right, but trumpet, great option. And then what about you?
I have no creativity on this. I can't even imagine anybody else.
Okay.
Any other sounds. I don't know how to put them in there. But
then we're going to give you the bassoon as your option because nobody says it.
Jaw harp.
But I do like the idea of random percussion
basket
pieces.
Yeah.
That's I like that idea.
I think it's fun if every member has a tiny little tray on their mic stand and just whoever's not doing something at a moment can just pick one up and do something with it. I always wish that was more of an element in bands I had been in, but it's hard to explain that to a post-hardcore band. My last band was electronic funk rock, so that would have worked, but we were all so busy.
Well, you know what else is? I really like the sounds of recorded music when they put in some Foley.
Oh, gotcha. So just kind of supporting sounds.
Yeah. Foley player.
Some shoes and some gravel.
I love this stuff. This stuff is good.
It's just the people who didn't make it into the Blue Man Group.
That person also has the percussion basket and a trumpet.
Yeah.
Ah. All right. We figured it out. A trumpet-based percussionist.
If anybody's out there, you can fill the bill.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you for going through that. For this next one, who is a local band that you're aware of that you haven't gotten? Obviously you've only played one show collectively at the moment, but who's a local band?
Two shows.
Or two shows. Sorry,
a lot coming.
And we have another one for this Friday.
Oh, exciting. Well, damn, now I wish this was out before then so people would know, but we'll get to that in a moment. But who is a band that you're aware of that you haven't gotten to share the stage with yet, but you would like to? Oh, and this one could be
Yeah.
anybody.
I hope
Anybody or just local? Or
Let's do local.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Mistons.
Okay.
Sean Crogan's band.
Okay.
I just saw them over the weekend at like the PDX Label Fest.
Mhm.
Incredible band, and I've watched that guy play in bands since Cracker Bash since I was in high school, going to the X-Ray Cafe like way back. But Mistons kill. They're really good.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to play with them. There's a few other bands like I really like the band Slang.
Mhm.
Or them.
I'm not familiar now.
Janet Weiss and on drums, and I can't remember the guy's name. And I don't know, kind of like all stars of Portland indie rock, but check out Slang. They're very special. They get a really interesting sound.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for that.
I call it like Gothabilly, like, I don't know.
Do they have 4 or less members?
Ghost rock or something.
Do they have 4 or less members?
They have 4 members. No.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
4 members.
Everybody at them in the comments. Let's get them on an episode.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. And I don't know. There's a bunch of local bands that are
Yeah.
But that's a couple that come to mind. Yeah.
Perfect. And then what about you two?
Gosh, I'm struggling to I'm going to think of 10 after we're done here.
That's all right. And then did you have any in mind?
No, I'm like an old person, really.
That's all right. I think your answers were solid enough to cover the group on that one.
UVs we've talked about.
Yeah, UVs. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And that kind of scene. Like in our heads, I feel like I've been thinking about this a lot. Like in our heads, we're probably a little more punk than we sound.
Mhm.
You know, like for us, it's very punk, but I don't know, we're kind of gravitating. You know, we played with this band, Shit Fits.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
That's a name that's been popping up more recently.
Yeah,
Everybody
they're
at them in the
amazing.
comments too.
Yeah, they're so good.
Oh, yeah.
And we're lucky enough we got invited to play with them next month for their record release. So
Oh, that's exciting.
Awesome.
Man, that's going to be a fun show for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Oh, yeah. All right. And then for this next one, like I said before, sky's the limits. If you could perform anywhere in the world and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access, building stability, power, guaranteed great lineup, guaranteed great show, anything that could hinder the show from happening is already taken care of. And it doesn't have to be a venue. It can be anywhere. Where would you like to perform?
You wanted to do festivals, right? Festivals?
Beach Festival.
Beach festival.
Okay. Is there one in particular?
Nope.
Is that the name of a
That's what
I was like,
it's called Beach Festival.
wow. They,
Wait, that's real?
No.
oh, gotcha. I was like, hold on a second. Is there actually one called? So you all
Just make a beach.
y'all are, yeah. Congratulations,
We're-
Beach Fest 2024.
Wait, have a festival
It's happening.
Not in the desert. It's on the beach. Is that
Yes.
basically, yeah.
Gotcha.
And
That'd be great.
and it's got the Atlantic waters, right? Warm water.
Well,
We're much closer to Pacific water.
I realize this now that I'm here.
maybe it's like a Caribbean.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, like
Play
you
one of our
cruise
stalls.
and then go to a
Maybe
festival.
it's-
Wait, that happened before.
Caribbean coast in Costa Rica,
True.
could be there.
Okay.
That's where Beach Festival takes place.
Cool.
All right. Well, like I said, Beach Fest 2024, it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to play Japan somewhere. That'd be cool. I've just been following some bands that I like that have been touring in Japan. I'm just like, this looks rad.
Music happens different in Japan.
Yeah.
It's
What does that mean?
it's got like it's almost like more densely perceived there. Like the way, like when you go to do music there, from what I've heard of the people who've had tours aligned there, especially for bands that weren't huge, but they got, that was the next step on their way. It just, the pace is very different from what I've gathered. The ability to perform in multiple places in an evening is very different. Like you can just kind of hop from place to place to do music. And that's just, it's for being a not top level performer, it's still very streamlined in that mid and lower ranges to just make it a thing. If you want to go and play shows in Japan, you can play a ton of them.
Ooh, let's do it.
Yeah, and it's effectively doable from what I've gathered. Again, this is not my experiences directly, but I've heard a few people who've gone and toured there, as well as watched a few of artists that I'm familiar with, and it seems to be just a very jet set experience for sure. So
All right, Larry.
That was just what I had heard. Yeah. So y'all are definitely going to want to get ready. You can probably start with Beach Fest and then go Japan Tour 2024, and you'll cover a lot of ground.
But wait, Misty, what's your fest?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I don't have a lot of answers. Mostly filled with questions.
That's all right. All right. Now we've got one last one to go in the hypothetical question realm. And this one, I think this one's just kind of, it's not so much band specific. It's kind of more of an individual one. But if you could get one more album from anybody,
get one more album, like out of them.
Yeah, like you could get it, and it could be from an artist who just put out an album yesterday, an artist who hasn't put out an album in years and isn't even alive, or somebody who's never even made an album before. But who would you want an album from?
Elliott Smith.
You were
good answer.
Yeah, I was gonna say you had that one ready.
I would listen to Elliott Smith forever.
Oh yeah.
So
I don't know if I could top that one.
No more.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. How do you beat that one?
I don't know.
That's such a good answer. I mean, not that we have to beat it, but like, how do you follow that?
Me if you're gonna say anything.
Always competing. Gosh.
I thought I had it with the Beach Fest, but no.
I feel like I could answer this question, but like then I feel bad about it. Like I would say like Fugazi, because Fugazi is my all-time favorite band.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I appreciate that they went on hiatus.
Yeah.
That they didn't drag it on too long.
Yeah.
No. Well, in this too, it's kind of one of those like, this would assumably be like that, like an album that would be one to experience. Again,
Right.
in the realm of hypotheticals.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if I have another answer to that. Like, yeah, Elliott Smith, that'd be awesome. Like, just, that just tears me up because I kind of knew the guy, but like, yeah, anyway.
Gotcha.
You got anything, Mary?
It's a I'm going to think of it later situation.
Gotcha.
I'm going to be filled with regret.
That's all right. I mean, there's a million of them at the end of the day. And I mean, there's so much new music happening all the time. I think we can enjoy it as it comes out. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to start wrapping this up. Why don't you tell us what we can look forward to in the first quarter of 2024?
Well, we're going to be recording again. We only have 3 songs out there that we recorded, and we recorded on our own. It came out pretty good.
Yeah.
We're trying to decide whether we want to record the other 12 something songs.
Okay.
Record, like, whether we want to do that ourselves or go into a studio, but we definitely want to get a release next year, and we might tour in the summer, talking about that.
Oh, exciting. Y'all just diving right into it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of taking a life of its own.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. And I mean, it's not like y'all aren't familiar with like what the music would eventually become anyway. So I think getting right into it makes sense.
Well, now's the time, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to waste any time. So.
No, I love that. All right. And then for this next one, go ahead and look at the camera and tell everybody how they can find you.
But wait, were we supposed to talk about our shows too or not?
Oh, I thought that was hyping it up. Yeah. Sorry. Just yes. What shows do you have coming up in the first quarter of 2024?
Can we start with December 29th, or will this come out after?
This should come out before that.
Okay. So we're playing at the 6.
6 Below Midnight, December 29th, with a Foxglove and the Low High.
And January 19th at the High Watermark.
Yep, that's it.
And then January 20th at
6 and 2.
6 and 2. And then January 28th.
The Bomber, which is the Hall at Hall. So it's like, yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, y'all, like
Trying to
you're like one out of town show away from starting your own tour just with that already.
Yeah, like, so yeah, the January 19th with Stunt Drummer and Stickbuck. The 20th with Shitfits and whoever else they invite, and then the 28th with Spectrum Static. So,
yeah,
and then trying to figure out February, March.
Well, that's that's enough for people to check out for right after seeing this for sure, and that's exciting.
January is like our let's practice that we're on tour, but we're already doing it.
Yeah. Do it where you can go back home if something breaks and fix it for tour. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, now go ahead and look at the camera and tell everybody how they can find you.
And we are merwulf.band, MERWULF.
Much better.
And what else do we have?
We have
Spotify?
We have merwulf.bandcamp.com, and we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Music, Tidal, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to our Instagram and hit the link in bio, you'll get some more links to other stuff. And we have t-shirts and stickers and stuff like that.
You'll see one of their t-shirts on a future episode for sure, so keep an eye out for that.
Nice.
And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you'd like to put on while you're on here?
Yeah. We have such great bands we've already played with, like I said, we played with the Shitfits. There's another band we played with that same night called Zwanger, ZWANG. Oh, sorry, ZWONGER. No, just no ER.
There's very few.
Oh my God,
vowels.
I cannot spell.
There's very few vowels in that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. ZWONGR. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
They're incredible, really amazing band. Our friend Stunt Drummer, who the reason they're called Stunt Drummer is they had rotating drummers, and I ended up being one of those drummers.
Exciting.
But they're a lot of fun. Our friends, the Low High, it's my friend Bob's band. Really great. Bob's an incredible songwriter, really great rock band. And yeah, we're excited to play with Static Shadows and oh my gosh, what's the other one? Phantom Note. Great. These are great names for bands, right? Static Shadows.
Yeah.
Phantom Note. Phantom Note. That's a great name for a band. And yeah, Foxglove, incredible band. There's so many great bands in town.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all really great people. That's been, we haven't really been cool guide that much, Everybody's really been really cool. That's really great.
That's definitely something I've come to appreciate a lot about the Pacific Northwest music community in general. Is like when you really take the time to talk to a lot of the people, they're all just happy to be here.
Yeah.
And that's really appreciated for sure.
Community. It's so great. It's so nice.
Especially now, I think with kind of the growth of the DIY scene and just how everything has kind of become accessible in different ways. We've really seen kind of a freedom to just make the music and not have to have the ego attached to it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, one other band to shout out, Spectrum Static. They've been really cool to us. We haven't played a show with them yet, but they've invited us multiple times. So
perfect.
It's gonna be great to play with them finally.
Oh yeah. All right, now we've got one last question to go. But before we do, I'm gonna steal the camera for just a second.
Okay.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. I don't know what they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the sponsors, Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below and go get some stuff. But with that being said, the final question. And this one's very much up to your interpretation. And we'll just let whoever answer in whatever order you'd like. But what is an album that you feel is more on the obscure side, but you think everybody should know?
Saya Gray. I think it's 19 Masters is the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like art pop. I don't think it's super obscure, but I feel like I tell a lot of people about it.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it, so I'll check it out after this.
You'll love it.
Thank you.
Hmm.
I really thought Larry was going to have an answer for this one, kind of off the cuff. I
don't know. I'm not sure how popular things are, so I don't know how obscure it is. I feel like most of the music I listen to is kind of obscure, in the grand scheme of things. But then they have they were popular enough to end up in my algorithm somehow.
Fair.
I mean, it's not like the old days where I just flipped through the records and found a cover I liked and just I'll buy this and maybe it's good.
I gotcha.
Well, in that vein, there's one old one of my punk records from back in the day that I never hear this band ever talked about, but they were called Peace Corpse.
I've never heard of that. Yeah,
and there was an EP called Terror of History, and I read a little bit about them recently. They were this couple that started Toxic Shock Records, and it was some record shop in the Midwest, and they put out a lot of punk records, but they had their own band, and I can't remember her name, but the guitarist in this band she was like a virtuoso, like incredible, you know. But just that small, it's a really good, like, you know, it's like really intense songwriting for a punk record. You know?
Yeah. Well, I have 2 albums, so I'm going to check out. I'm super excited. All right. And do you have one for us?
I cannot think of anything.
That's all right.
That I'm sure.
That's all right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you all so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
So much fun.
Thank you. This has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Misty.
I'm Mary.
I'm Larry, and we're
Merwulf.
And we're signing off later, y'all.
That's a wrap. This is not a podcast. This is a show. Keep jamming.